Everyone, this video is just to show you how to set up the pay runs and different pay items that you need for running and processing this JobKeeper payment based on the advice we have so far to date. It became legislation and law as of yesterday. There are still a few items that we're not aware of from the JobKeeper, but we do now have enough details that we know how to process the pay. First thing we're going to need to do is add in a new pay item. We do this through settings, and we'll have to go to payroll settings. Now, it's really important to know that at the moment, based on the advice we have, people who were permanent previously will still be eligible to accrue their leaves and leave items, even if they've been stood down. And it's important to realize as well that we want to make this an overtime earnings, and you saw that I clicked ordinary earnings. The reason why we want to do that is that it's exempt from superannuation guarantee as a payment. So any payments that are from the JobKeeper and aren't being funded by yourself will be set up and exempt from super. So the regular payment that you would be paying someone if they were working for you and they're still working for you, they still earn super guarantee on, but where they've been stood down, for instance, or they're getting extra from this JobKeeper payment, which is what this pay item's for, you will not have to pay them superannuation guarantee. And that's really, really important. So we've done that. So now we've done that, we're going to go to the employees and make sure that we've got the pay template set up correctly to put in the JobKeeper. So I'll show you how to do it if you've got someone who's stood down. So someone who's stood down, we want to go to the employees and their pay template. So we can see here, ordinary hours on their pay template is 38 hours. We'll make that 0 so that on the template, they're not earning anything because they've been stood down, and put in their JobKeeper. Now, this is set up on a fortnightly calendar, so it's paid fortnightly. So we'll change the earnings rate to $1,500 for the JobKeeper amount. Now, the other things can stay the same as well. And we can, if an employee wants to keep their salary sacrifice arrangements in place as it's been set up on this template, they can be. So we'll save that. But in this example, we've got the salary sacrifice there. So let's assume that that is removed and we just have the SGC amount in there. All right. And we'll move their deduction as well. Save that. Now, so this has been set up that they've been stood down. They're going to get the $1,500 per fortnight. Now, if we go to their leave, now because they're a permanent employee, they still accrue their leave. So with that in mind, it is a lot easier to have the calculation method as a fixed amount each period rather than based on ordinary earnings. So if you don't have fixed amount each period, I would suggest that you change it to that if it was on ordinary times earning previously, because it will still need to be accrued. So we've got that saved for this fictional James Lebron. Let's go to the paying employees to show how that will show up in this next pay cycle for his payslip, and make sure that it's actually been adjusted. No, it hasn't been. Hasn't been because it was already drafted. So I'll cancel that, close this pay run and reset it for you. Now we can see here, James Lebron earnings, $1,500, tax $192, super 0. So this is what the JobKeeper looks like for someone who's been stood down. So you can see ordinary hours, Xero, so $0, $1,500 is their earnings, 192 withholding, no super. They've got a split for their payment on their bank account, which must be must have been set up on this demo company, and they've still got the accrual of their leaves for annual and sick leave. Now that we've seen how it works for someone who's been stood down, let's look at the other way in which it works if someone who's making less than the JobKeeper amount starts earning the JobKeeper amount. So this is where you might have someone who's working for you part-time. And in this example, we're going to continue using James, but we're going to say that he earns approximately $1,100 a fortnight. So going to put that in. And then we've got to put in the JobKeeper amount as well. So let's say that he works 30 hours per week, sorry. So let's change his earnings rate, ordinary hours. We'll remove the salaried rate. So we can say that he does 20 hours a week or 40 hours a fortnight. Call it at 40, not 40, $20. So $800 a fortnight. Now, in this instance, the JobKeeper will be an extra $700 on top of the $800 he would ordinarily earn. So we'll save that. And then, because we've saved that, let's go back to the pay employees. And we'll be able to see, once this has been reset, we'll be able to see the change in how that works on their earnings. Okay, so by entering in that, you can see we've got the $700 there for the JobKeeper and the $800 in ordinary earnings because we're assuming that they're still working. And the super is then calculated on the $800. So you've got $76 worth of SGC still payable, and then you still got their same accrual of annual and personal carer's leave. Now, in the last example I'm going to show you, this is where they are still earning what they would usually earn. So in this example, basically all that happens is nothing. So you will, as an employer, you will receive the JobKeeper, sorry, apologies. But it will just be a subsidy for you to help pay your employees. So in your pay template, you won't need to actually change anything, and it will just come in as a subsidy to help assist paying with your employees. So when that happens, you pay them as you would regularly pay them, and you're just going to get essentially some extra assistance from the government to help keep paying your employees. But I must emphasize this only happens where you're not reducing their hours or standing them down. So they earn over the JobKeeper amount. So where they earn over the JobKeeper amount from their actual work that they are doing, then there's no change in how you actually process their pay. However, if they're getting the JobKeeper amount because they're not working, because they've been stood down, or because they're working reduced hours and or weren't earning up to the JobKeeper amount and are eligible for it, it's important that you follow the first two examples that were shown. Hope this video helps, and if you need any assistance with this, please give us a call. Thanks. Bye.